Good Tuesday evening, everybody. It's Dave at PreciseAlgorithmTrading.com, and it's May 2nd of 2023. And let's go through the markets. The markets, well, they look like they got hammered today. I didn't, wasn't really in front of them a ton, so and it's fine. That's part of it. So let's just dive into it here. So this is the S&P 500 E-mini futures, which is really the representation of the S&P 500 period. But it trades in an overnight session, and it almost 24 hours a day. Um, well, over 5 days a week, because it actually starts on Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and goes through Friday afternoon in like 4:30 or something like that. And I can't tell if it, and I've been doing this a while, but I can't tell if it has a hard end on Friday or somehow it has a soft end on Friday. But I'm always out by. I've got our algorithm set up to be out by right after 4 o'clock. So, anyways, none of that matters except that this instrument trades almost all the time. It takes a break on the weekend. So, and it's a little messy on this chart. If I flip over here to, I'm going to have to flip back and forth to make a point, but this is the S&P SPX. It's the big S&P contract that you can trade, but you have to have, in my opinion, big money to do it. They made all these other instruments, the E-mini futures. Now they have a mini E-mini futures, which I don't even know what those are because I don't trade them. And then they have the Spiders SPY, which is an exchange traded fund that is, I don't even know what. Let's look at it just because it looks an awful lot the same. It throws the same signals, generally speaking, almost exactly the same, but I'm sure it's not perfectly the same. And this is a $410 instrument versus the SPX. It's a $4,100 instrument. And the E-mini futures is a $4,138 instrument, and there's a lot of stuff nuance to that. It actually costs a bigger money. I don't even know what the actual contract price amount is. It's a very leveraged instrument, but in any case, the you get the same gist of what, and it is it's the market to a lot of market participants. They look at the S&P 500, and it is like what they use to gauge the market. I like to use a blend of all the things that I talk about on a daily basis, including the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the Russell 2000, the NASDAQ, and then I obviously pay attention to other instruments like what's oil doing, what's the 10-year note doing, and what are bonds doing. And I use TLT for bonds. So, all right. So, anyways, the market theoretically got hammered today because the S&P went down by 1.16% today. And maybe this is the beginning of what we saw the other day, or maybe it's just a continuation. But this is a consolidation period or area that we're in, this zone. And if I flip back here to the S&P E-mini futures, we drew these Fibonacci's on here last night, and I think it was last night, and I wanted to show that stopped and actually made a candlestick wick. Went way down here to the, I don't even know what, I'll call that the diagonal resistance line, but just by, I don't want to call it coincidence because that level means something. That's why the diagonal is on here. But it came down to that line. It looks like, I mean, almost to a tick, and then came all the way back up and stopped up above the 786 line. And the comment I made last night was if we fail the 786, our last hope is the 618. And you can see actually back here last week, even when I got faked, or I don't want to call it faked out because I did flip and went bearish that day. That I mean that came right down to the 618 line and pulled back up. We didn't even have these lines drawn in then, but that's where it went to because we could have had them drawn in. But these Fibonacci's are powerful is really my point. So we'll watch and see how this happens. I could see tomorrow is Fed Day, which they go into a meeting on Tuesday, they come out on Wednesday um, with their puff of smoke, not really, and they give us the announcement of what the interest rates are going to do. So I think it's an excuse to have volatility in the market, and as of this point right now, we're bullish on the weekly and we're bearish on the daily, so this thing could do anything at once. But we have more signs of this thing going up, so I'm going to be real interested to see if the probabilities play out to the upside, that maybe we get a big down move and then a pullback with some kind of hammer looking candlestick or something like that, and then blow off to the upside, or if we just blow off to the upside period, or if this thing just rolls over and dies, which is very possible too. It could fill in, go back in, fill in this triangle, and we could just have a big consolidation zone from this 100% line at the top around 4,200 all the way down to 3850 or so, 3839, and I mean that thing could refill, and then this thing could go lower if we're still in a giant bear market, which we could be, but that's not what it looks like right now. So, and then the other thing is it could do all this back and forth in this zone from, let's call it from the 618 here to the 100% line, and stay inside. I'm flipping over to the weekly over here where it says red trail scan. That's our indicator. That would pull back in the same bullish area without flipping back to being bearish again. So really this thing's got a lot of room to move is kind of my point. So sorry to stay on that for so long. Let's flip through the markets real quick. Here's the Dow Jones Industrials. Also, actually, that's a weekly and a daily signal, so if we were long, we'd be out, but I already got out the other day, and I really haven't jumped back in again. The Russell, and I could explain again that the Russell stocks are the hardest ones to get in and out of, so they tend to give us a heads up on which way the market's going, and they are bearish on both time frames, so we'll see what happens, but we do also have a giant support level down here. The NASDAQ is still bullish, actually has a buy signal on today, or tomorrow actually, is what's forming there. Sell signal today, buy signal forming for tomorrow, so that'll be fun to watch. And so the technology stocks are the ones that are propping up this market right now. And that's good because I'm in some. I actually added or got back into Amazon today because it's bullish on the weekly, bullish on the daily. I think I did jump in with a pretty sizable position, but I still have more if I wanted to. If this thing comes in the middle of this candle tomorrow morning, I could buy at a better price, maybe some options or something like that. It's nice when Amazon's only $100 a share because it's been up in the thousands, and I don't touch or mess around with it too much when it's up there. Even though we're in an age where we can buy 1, 2, or 10 shares of things, so which is good. It gives us flexibility. So, anyways, just a little bit of that going on. Oil. I think it got hammered today. Yes, it did. So oil looks like it's going down. It's bearish on the daily, bearish on the weekly. I'm not sure I still necessarily believe it. I think we're going to get a reversal at some point. We are now back in the oversold territory, not all the way, on the daily, and we're technically, it looks like we've had some back and forth and still wanted to go up on the weekly, but we do have a bearish indication for the actual down era today, or this week, so see if that plays out. But I'm not in this, so it doesn't really matter, just using it as an example. So that's enough, I think, of the markets. Well, I also look at TLT because it is a buy signal today. I bought a little bit This one I did do a half-size position because I do feel like it's going to come back inside the candle tomorrow, especially with a Fed decision on the horizon. Bonds tend to get moved in that. I mean, and if it flips back, I'm just going to get out. So, all right. Now we're going to flip over to stockcharts.com. We'll type in bullish. Something I noticed here, the real estate sector actually popped up within the last few days. So it's on a column of X's. That's interesting with all the news in the real estate market, not necessarily being all that bullish. And then this is communication, which is neither here nor there, but just something to watch. I'm going to look at the industrials. I don't think they moved today. The NYA down 3.66%. Transports did not move. The NASDAQ down 2.85%. Really looking for a nice reversal on the NASDAQ. Maybe we'll get that because of Fed Day. Let's go to the SPX. Down 4.32% today, which is getting close, it looks like, to a new O forming. And the NASDAQ 100 down 2.04%. And the OEX, which I think tacked on a new O today, which it did. That's what that 5 is. It's just the beginning of May. So because it's the beginning of May and we also got an O at the same time, that puts the 5 in there. It's just a marker in time. So that's that. And then over here to our automatic trading systems. This is the Dow. I actually reran the Dow overnight last night. I said I was going to. I didn't get any better results than the ones that I've been using, so I didn't change my formula. And I was going to show you guys all that, but it's a lot of stuff, and I'm trying to keep these videos short, especially on the week during the week. So here's the Dow. It came up nicely in the last few days. This is what it looks like on the 6-month basis. It looks better than that on a yearly basis. This is the Russell that I did change up the strategy the other day. It didn't change it a ton off of this, and I showed that the other day, but this is better, and I have to trade more contracts, but I'll take it. It is good. And then here's the NASDAQ, which we had a nice pop up today, and then yesterday obviously was a rough day, but we got a lot of that back, and actually all of it back, and then it pulled back a little bit toward the end of the day. And this is what it looks like on a 6-month basis. So everything's tracking, everything's fine. That's the nature of trading. Things go up, things go down, and ultimately we're just doing math, and probabilities. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. Have a great Wednesday. Take care.